reminded of why we're here. You know what I mean? It's good to be reminded what we're fighting for. It's good to remember that we're part of something. We're part of a team. You know what I mean? We're part of something. Everybody goes throughout their work week, and we forget, you know what I mean, why we're here, what the purpose is, what the true intention is of why we're here. You know what I mean? We go through the mundane, we go through the ins and outs of waking up and going about our days, and we forget. You know what I mean? We forget that we're part of something bigger, and it's important to remember, and that's why we do this meeting here. That we're together as one. We're one body. You know what I mean? We're together, and it's about recovery, and we have a greater purpose. You know what I mean? And we need to be reminded that we're part of something bigger than us. It was important for me, you know what I mean, when I first came around. Like, I would get caught up in work and stuff like that, and I would start forgetting, you know what I mean, really quickly, of like what I was fighting for. You know what I mean? Like, I was fighting for my life, but I would get caught up, and I'd start forgetting what my purpose was. You know what I mean? Like, it was. So this meeting, every time we had it, like, it would remind me, you know what I mean, of why I'm here. This is life or death situation. You know what I mean? It's nothing to play with. And so every time we do the Monday meeting, you know what I mean, I would be reminded. So that's why we do this. You know what I mean? So it's very, very important. Tonight I have a guy coming up. He has some time in. You know what I mean? He's doing all the right things. He shows up for the meetings. He does what he's supposed to do. He's a house manager. He's came a long way. You know what I mean? I remember when he first came here, he had a lot of issues of, like, standing up for himself and being affirmative. You know what I mean? And he's grown a lot. You know what I mean? He's grown a lot. He's done everything that we've asked him to do. You know what I mean? Like, he whenever we would rebuke him and tell him, sit him down and tell him, like, you know, he was doing wrong or doing the wrong thing, he wouldn't try to be combative or fight back. You know what I mean? As men, that's our first thing that we want to do is you can't tell me what to do. I'm a grown man. You know what I mean? I hear that all the time. You can't. I'm grown. You know what I mean? If you were grown, you wouldn't be sitting in this seat. You know what I mean? If you were a grown man, you would take care of your responsibilities. If you were a grown man, your kids wouldn't be taken care of by somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be taught how to do things differently, how to live life on life's terms. But a lot of people don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? So when you sit them down, they get combative. This guy's, every time we sat him down, he wouldn't be combative. He would listen to what we were saying, and then he would do it. You know what I mean? Because he knew his way didn't work, and he was willing to do whatever it took to get another day. You know what I mean? And that means taking suggestions. That means listening when somebody else is pointing something out wrong about you. You know what I mean? I had to be sit down a million times. They had to tell me that I was messed up. I was doing wrong. My thoughts were crazy. You know what I mean? It wasn't all the time, but they had to sit me down, once or twice, and tell me what I was doing was wrong. You know what I mean? And I had to accept it, and I changed. You know what I mean? I changed those things about me because I knew the way that I was living was messed up, and I knew that I didn't want to go back to the way that I was. And if I was willing to do whatever it took, and I was willing to change, you know what I mean, I knew that things would get better. You know what I mean? I had to let go of that old me, and I had to listen to suggestions. You know what I mean? And this gentleman has done that. Everything that we asked him to do, you know what I mean? He has done to the T, up and down. He still has something to work on, but we want to bring guys. I know you get tired of hearing me, you get tired of hearing Ryan, you get tired of hearing John. So, we want to bring guys that are in the program, that are doing the same thing you're doing, that have a little bit more time down the road, you know what I mean, than some of you guys, and have been here a little bit longer. So you can say, like, he's still here, he's doing the right thing, he's fighting, you know what I mean, and he's growing and thriving and becoming better, you know what I mean, and that's what it's all about, man, is being better than you were yesterday, you know what I'm saying? Every day I lay down and I say, like, what could I have done better, which is a lot, you know what I mean, as a human, we're imperfect, you know what I mean, the only person that's perfect is Christ. That's not me, you know what I mean, I know that I fail and I suck every single day. I can only try to be better. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. So Anthony's going to come up and speak. Today's his birthday, so everybody be respectful. Be respectful. You know what I mean? It's hard to get up here and speak, so be respectful and kind, and you can ask questions afterwards, and I'll get back up here after he's done.
A lot of my life, since I was 13 years old, I've struggled with some kind of drug problem. I started partying young, drinking parties in the woods, smoking weed, just being really, really reckless as a juvenile. I grew up in foster care. Both my mama and dad were both heroin addicts. My dad was murdered over a heroin deal in Kensington when I was 11. The foster homes that they had put me in, they weren't good foster homes. I was getting physically, mentally, and emotionally abused, along with my sister in the foster homes. And then they split me and my sister up when I was 10 years old. And they put me in another foster home where I was getting physically abused again in this foster home. And I don't know what it was. I guess I was just too young and I was too scared to say anything to anybody. But yeah, I never said nothing to nobody because I was scared to. I didn't know if I said something, I was going to get beat more or beat worse. So when the foster home that this last foster home that I was in, I started smoking weed and smoking cigs, and I was just trying to take away all the bad thoughts that I was having from the foster home, and also trying to rebel against my foster mom, and her son was the one that was hitting me. And 16 years old was the first time that I got arrested. I stole a check from my foster mom and forged it, and I got in trouble for the first time at 16 for forgery. I ended up getting probation. I ended up getting kicked out of Springfield High at my first half of 11th grade, and then I came here and moved with my grandma in Upland, right down the street, in the second half of 11th grade, and I went to Chester High, and then after Chester High, my grandma was like, "Nah, we ain't putting you in Chester High for your senior year." Like, I was one out of 3 white kids out in the whole school that year, and so they put me in O'Hara. So I ended up graduating from O'Hara. After high school, I started experimenting with mushrooms and acid and ecstasy a lot. I was taking that stuff a lot, like every weekend, pretty much. And then I got introduced to all the college parties, Westchester, Drexel, Kutztown. Like, I was going to a lot of parties, and that's where I started snorting coke for my first time at the parties. I had gotten into the roofing business, and I remember falling off a roof. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I didn't fall off the roof. I fell up between the scaffolding, and I hurt my back really bad. And of course, they prescribed me the Percocets. And from then on, from the Percocets on, for the next 20 years, I struggled with heroin. I graduated to heroin, and I just struggled for 20 years. Relapse after relapse, rehab after rehab. Years in the George W. Hill. I did 2 years upstate, and I came home in 2019. I ended up relapsing again, and in 2020, the summer in 2020, I was on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and this is right around when the fentanyl and the tranquilizer stuff was coming out, and I was driving on the turnpike, and I stopped at one of the rest stops on the turnpike and went in and did a bag, and I got back into the car and started driving. I was driving 3 hours from Philly, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and I remember. Actually, I don't really remember much because I ended up nodding out. I was doing 80 miles an hour, and I nodded out, and I woke up as I was crashing through the guardrail on the side of the turnpike, and I flipped the car 10 times. I went through the windshield and then got sucked back into the car, and I fractured 2 vertebrae in my neck. And it was really bad. Like, they couldn't believe I was alive. Nobody could believe I was alive. And I think for a fact that somebody was on my side that day. Somebody didn't want me to die. And from then on, from 2000, I haven't, I've been clean off of heroin ever since then, ever since October 20th of 2020. I was living with my fiance. I had 3 years clean, and I ended up relapsing 2 days after my 3-year date in 2023. I got kicked out of the house. It was October 2023. I forgot to also, my mom had overdosed and died in the year of 2020. December 2021, my mom overdosed and died. And then 3 months later, my grandpa, my mom's dad, ended up dying. So it was really, really hard on me. It was like the 2 closest people in my life I ended up losing within a 3-month span. And then from 2024, summer 2024 until March of 2025, I was homeless. I was homeless the whole time. I never in my life ever let a drug control me as bad as it was controlling me within that year. I was smoking crack, and it was like I just didn't want to stop. I don't know what it was, and it was crazy because the life I was living was reckless. It was horrible. You want like the winter, like you would think I would want to go into the rehab in the winter, in the dead of winter. Nope. I'm out there down on the subway, Broad and Snyder, smoking crack, dead of winter, and it was ridiculous. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And March of 22nd of March of last year, 2025, I ended up going to Keystone Center. I finally called and asked for a bed at Keystone Center. And when I got to Keystone Center, I had the same clothes on I had for a month. I haven't showered in I don't know how long. I was so embarrassed to even hand the tech my clothes, because you got to hand them your clothes for them to search them. And I was so embarrassed to even hand her my clothes. Even like, I took my socks off and they were stiff, standing straight up. I swear to God, it was horrible. It was horrible. And I ended up doing a whole month at Keystone Center, and April 22nd, I ended up coming here, and ever since I came here, it's been nothing but a blessing, man. It's like what started out as something I thought that I could manage, it became something that managed me. I was ashamed, I was guilty, and I was empty inside. It's like I knew better, but I just never could seem to do better. When I got here, I decided to surrender myself to God, and I never done before ever in my life. And I ended up getting baptized. And God didn't just take away a bad habit. He began changing me and my heart. He gave me strength one day at a time. and he replaced my cravings with his peace. He put people in my life that held me accountable. I'm not perfect, and I don't think anybody is perfect, and I still depend on God every day. But I don't wake up every day anymore with guilt or shame. I wake up grateful, man. The 22nd of this month will be a year clean, and it's just amazing to me that I've made it this far. I'm telling you guys that if God can help me and pull me out of the hell that I was in, he can help you guys. He definitely can. Addiction is strong, but God's stronger. And that's all I really had to say. I want to let you guys, thank you for letting me share.
All right, he did really well. I mean, that was a lot of wisdom, man. He's got a lot of wisdom. So a lot of us go through things, that lead us down the road that we go. Some of us come from great families. Some of us don't. You know what I mean? Some of us are black. Some of us are white. Some of us, do one thing. Some of us do another. You know what I mean? Some people are rich. Some people are poor. It doesn't matter with this. You know what I'm saying? This thing does not care. It'll rip you apart either way. You know what I mean? Once you get into it, it's over. You know what I mean? And whether it's alcohol, heroin, crack cocaine, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what your twist was. You know what I mean? If you ended up here, it was bad enough, to where you're lucky to even be here. You know what I mean? I know when I first came in, like I was lucky. You know what I mean? I won't say luck. I will say God has spared me. You know what I mean? Because I was a wild child, a lot like Anthony. You know what I mean? My parents are alcoholics, heavy alcoholics. You know what I mean? They smoke weed and party, and it was okay for me to drink at like 13, 14. So I came from like a broken home. You know what I mean? I had a really messed up upbringing. You know what I mean? They tried to tell me what to do, but they were out of control themselves. So, I didn't really listen. You know what I mean? I got in a lot of trouble, suspended from different schools, you know what I mean? Thrown out. It's learned behavior. You know what I mean? You learn what you see at home. And, it was a long, long road of pain and suffering. You know what I mean, and anguish, for me to finally give in and say, like, I actually had a problem. You know what I mean? Because for the longest time I thought that I could figure this out or control it or figure out a way to do it on my own. For years, you know what I mean? I thought that I could do this thing on my own, and it finally got to a point to where you get enough pain in your life to where you say, like, this is a problem. You know what I mean? And I can't fix this myself. You know what I mean? I need help. And that's the best place you can be in the world. Once you come to that point in your life where you say, enough is enough. I don't know how to do this thing. I need help to change. That's the best place you could be. You know what I mean? Once you admit that, that's where the change happens. You know what I mean? And Anthony knew that he needed to change. You know what I mean? He knew that life that he was living was messed up, was crazy. You know what I mean? It was insane. It was going to kill him. You know what I mean? He was going to die. He was going to die out there getting high and doing stupid stuff. You know what I mean? Freezing out there in Kennington in the middle of winter when most normal people are inside. You know what I mean? We're outside getting one more, because that's the most important thing, is to get one more. You know what I mean? And that one more eventually will lead to death. I don't know how many people I know that are dead, that have died, that I've been to funerals. I'm going to say over 100. Family, close friends, you know what I mean? It wiped out basically my generation. everybody I went to school with, a lot of them are dead. You know, so it's nothing to play with. You know what I mean? It's really, we're really lucky to be here. You know what I mean? God has saved us, has spared you for a reason. Take advantage of this program. You know what I mean? Stay here, learn to do something different, learn to take advice, learn to build relationships, learn to be a part of something, learn to give back, learn not to be all about you. You know what I mean? Volunteer when we do the food outreach. Come here and help other people. You know what I mean? It's about helping other people, believing in something greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. You know what I mean? There has to be, it can't be you. This cannot be done on your own. You cannot fix this situation. If you could fix this situation, you wouldn't be sitting in these seats. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kept me sick for the longest time, was thinking that I could do this on my own. You know what I mean? And then coming into places like this and telling the place what to do, telling them how they should run this place, telling them that they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Because my opinion matters so much. You know what I mean? I'm the smartest guy in the world. That's why I'm in a place like this. But I'm telling other people how to do their job, telling them how they can help me, you know what I mean? Picking out what's wrong with other people instead of pointing the finger at me, you know what I mean? Just sitting back and listening was my biggest issue, you know what I mean? I always wanted to be in control. I always wanted to tell others what to do, you know what I mean? And I couldn't even control my own life. You know what I mean? My own life was so messed up. That's probably the reason why, you know what I mean? It's easy to fix other people. It's hard to fix your own life. You know what I mean? So stop going to programs and telling them how to run stuff. You know what I mean? Listen, take advice, take suggestions. You know what I mean? Do something different. Admit that your way doesn't work. That's the biggest key. If you can admit that your way doesn't work, things will start getting better. You know what I mean? Your way does not work. If it did, we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing for me, was to admit that, and then I could move forward. You know what I mean? Once I admitted that I knew nothing when it came to this, I could start to learn and be taught how to do this thing. You know what I mean? But it took me a long time to get to that point. You know what I mean? Everybody comes to a certain point where you had enough pain to where you're willing to say, I know that my way doesn't work. Please help me change. You know what I mean? And once you do that, beautiful things can happen. You can start getting time. You look back, and life isn't easy, man. Life isn't easy. Life is hard. You know what I mean? Life isn't easy for anybody. You know what I mean? Life is hard, but you don't use over it. You know what I'm saying? You don't run from life. You stand your ground, and you deal with what's coming. You know what I mean? That's being a man. You know what I mean? Taking care of your responsibilities, staying put, listening, you know what I'm saying? Listening to advice. If somebody points out something wrong with you, you know what I mean? Take it under advisement. You know what I mean? If somebody's pointing something out, it's probably right. You know what I mean? It's something that you can't, people have pointed out stuff about me, I couldn't even see it. You know what I mean? So they pointed it out, and I was like, oh, I had to look at that. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of issues thinking I know everything. You know what I mean? Thinking, you know, like I said, I would come in these type of places, like I'm court ordered to be here, my life's all jacked up, but I'm gonna come in a program like this and tell you how to live. You know what I mean? Like it was so backwards, but my thinking was backwards. You know what I mean? My thinking was so insane that I couldn't help myself. You know what I mean? I was so caught up in other stuff. But Anthony, you know, me and his story is pretty much the same. You know what I mean? We had bad things happen to us, and we get caught up. You know what I mean? We get caught up in that lifestyle because we don't know anything else. You know what I mean? We don't know anything else, and we keep doing the same thing until you get enough pain to where you're willing to change. Does anybody have any questions for Ant, Steve?
First off, happy birthday, bro. I appreciate you getting up there and you know, giving a little insight on your story. I just wanted to ask. I didn't want to because I can humanize with obviously all the pain and growing up displacement, you know, in homes and shit like that, and my fault. And so that part is cool, but the one thing that I can relate to more is being stuck on the street, despite the weather, despite all the motivation to actually like go ahead and get clean,
Yeah.
like despite all the factors that are against me, and still willing to participate in the shenanigans. You know, there was numerous times, and I just want you to like validate if this is the same, you know, for you. There was numerous times where I just had wished for a way out. Like I prayed for a way out, but I wasn't willing to obviously do any work for that. I just wished that like I could have the opportunity present itself where I could have, you know, some kind of home plan, somewhere to go, something to do. I even said this, I think it was actually earlier today. Like if I would have thought, you know, back then that I could have, if I could have came up with, you know, whatever said fee on a monthly basis and put myself in this bubble per se, and did that back then, like I would have, if I would have known about something like that, then I could have done that. But my question is, I guess, is like, did it take a while to get that ball rolling to where like you finally felt the momentum of like, all right, this is gonna work, this is gonna pan out, or is it like because there was numerous times where I was like discouraged, and then I would just embrace that things weren't gonna change. And like, you know, I just kind of accepted it and kept rolling with it.
It did take a while, man. Cause like I said, I was hanging out down South Philly a lot, and I actually had a best friend that was in a recovery house 2 blocks away, and he would come and look for me and try to get me out of rehab so many times, bro. And every single time, I just told him I'm not ready, man. Why go when I'm not ready? And it did take a while. It took a whole winter, like almost a whole winter. It was horrible, and it just. I was finally tired of freezing my ass off every night. I was tired of I couldn't even walk the bottom of my feet because I was walking so much back and forth. It was ridiculous. Like the bottom of my feet were horrible. I couldn't even walk. I was so sick of it, man.
I guess if I could just maybe rephrase that, because I guess I was a little all over the place. So like when you got out of Keystone and you came here, like did you still have doubt in yourself of rebuilding? Like was there? I mean, like I think I'm finally over that hurdle. At first, I didn't trust myself.
I did have a little doubt, just because, and that's another thing I didn't say that I meant to say was that when I first got here, I had a little bit of doubt just because of, in the beginning, I guess, Matt and Pastor Ryan, like, they were on my butt a lot. Like, a lot. Like, to the point where I got put back on blackout.
He did twice.
Oh, yeah, twice. But, and it was, I kind of got discouraged, but as time went on, I realized that what they were doing was only out of a good place. And I'm telling everybody that now. If you guys just came in and it seems like these guys are on your butt, and it seems like they're picking on you, they're not picking on you. It's out of a good place. It's out of a good place in their heart. And every single one of them are really, really good guys. And they're only trying to help you. They're trying to get you ready for out there when you get out there. That's all they're trying to do. Because that's what we need. You know what I mean? We need to know how to live like a human being. We need to know how to live like men, not like kids. You know what I mean? That's another thing he said. He was talking about take suggestions, listen, take suggestions. I was doing that a lot in Keystone. That I never did. I was always talking to the staff, like taking suggestions. And it was funny because a couple of dudes, I didn't even know who they were. They're like, "Oh, you're always talking to staff." Well, I ain't gonna talk to you. I ain't gonna get nothing out of you. So what you mean? You know what I mean? What you trying to say? Are you trying to say I'm a rat or something just because I'm talking to staff? You know what? I'd rather be labeled as a rat and be clean than sitting here talking to you, getting nothing out of you. And he's right. Just if you think you know it all, you don't know it all. Yeah. You don't.
True.
And Yeah.
Hey man, I wish you well and happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
We both came here pretty much around the same time.
Yeah.
I came here in April last year myself, man.
Hell yeah.
And in 12 more days, I'm gonna have a year. And
All
I
right.
feel terrific about things, and I've learned a lot since I've been here.
I know. Remember when you
Open
first
for
got here?
suggestion,
Remember when you
and
first
I
got here?
listen.
How much you hated it here?
Yeah, you wanted to leave.
You wanted to leave. Remember when you first got here? How much you didn't like it here?
Yeah, yeah.
And you wanted to leave. How many times
And
you
then
wanted to leave?
I hadn't put up with it, and I dealt with it, and I look at me.
Yup. Exactly.
It's almost a year now, and you know I got my life together now, and I feel terrific about myself, man.
Yeah. Good, bro.
No, I just wanted to say, honestly, I just wanted to say happy birthday. My birthday's on Wednesday, so.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, I'm going through a lot of you know, deer in the headlights
Yeah.
type situation. Feeling like, where do I go next? How do I make the next right step? You know, I've made progress since I came in here. You know, mentally, spiritually, physically. You know, I've started stepping in the right direction, but I still know I got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And as a person who once was in that situation, I would ask you, like, how do you go to reach that next step and know it's the right next step? Does that make sense?
No. What are you trying to say?
No, I appreciate it.
No, no.
Like, we don't know it all.
Right.
You know, take suggestions. I've done that.
Right.
But, like, certain things like making the right next step. How do we know for sure it's the right next step?
Well, you're gonna make
Only you're gonna know.
you're gonna make mistakes.
Only you're gonna know. And you know what? It's crazy. It's funny too. You said that too, because I was talking to Pastor Ryan earlier, and he was talking about. I was talking about my income and how much I make at work, and he was telling me that I made enough money for this program. What's the
Finally
pro-
home.
What is it called?
Finally home.
Finally home, where they give you your own they pay for your first, last, and your first couple months of rent for an apartment. They find you an apartment. I'm not sure if you have to find it or they find it, but
You find it.
you find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so but it's a program, and I was talking about. He's telling me that I make enough to enter this program, but I sat there and I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, Pastor Ryan, I'm not ready to be on my own yet. Like I'm not. I still got a couple of years to go that I think that I need to be that I can be on my own. I think if I were on my
Same way.
That actually brings us. Do you have a support network outside of Green now?
do I have a
In the
support
room-
network?
In the rooms, like, do you have like? I don't know if your sister's still around. I was wondering that.
Not really. I don't really talk to her. I'm gonna tell you. I mean, I have my aunt, my mom's sister, somewhat, but I'll tell you the truth, bro. Other than here, no.
I mean, this is a blessing. The rooms are a blessing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we all choose different paths.
Yeah.
So whatever your path is, you know what I mean. That's we're gonna hold you accountable. You know what I mean to follow it. But we're all gonna make mistakes. We're all gonna make mistakes. You know what I mean. We all walk different paths, and we're all gonna stumble and fall. You know what I mean. It's to pick yourself back up. You know what I mean, and try it a different way, or learn from where you went wrong. You know what I mean. Like I had to do it a million times. I learned from where I messed up at and redo it. You know what I mean, and try it a different way, or try it again, and this time I won't fall. Go ahead, Joe.
Myself, right? I know you have to learn from your mistakes. And one thing that you must learn is just not to use, right? If you have a mistake and you fall, right? The answer is not use it.
Yeah.
Pick yourself up and keep moving. You know, there's no answer because once you use, you lose, no matter what.
Sure.
You know, because then all you're doing is putting a problem on top of a problem. And I've done it so many times, right? And no matter what I go through now, I'm trying to go through and grow through, right? Using is not. I don't want it to be a part of my life anymore. I need to use it long enough, right? Any obstacle that God puts in front of me, it's only a test. It's a learning experience. You know, I'm looking at it. That's what it is now. I'm taking everything and looking at it and learn from it.
Yeah.
Right? There's no reason for me to even use drugs again. I don't know how many times I fail now Picking up is not the answer.
Sure.
That's been my answer for a long time. Using, giving up. And God has blessed me to be here, and I cannot see myself, right, just for the day, picking up and showing everything that He gave me so far. Using is not the answer for me.
Amen.
I want to say something what you just said, and I'm not saying anything that you just. I'm not trying to downplay anything that you just said, but oh, that's another thing. When I first got here, that I had to be reminded of is that you not getting high. That's only the first part of it. Like, it's not all about just not getting high. It's about changing your whole life.
Yes.
Changing everything about your life. Changing everything.
Amen. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right, you ready about that?
Yep. Yeah, you got to change everything. Everything. The way that you operated. You know what I mean. The way that you thought. All that stuff has to change. You know what I mean. And it takes time. And it's very, like Steve was saying, it's very discouraging. You know what I mean. I remember coming in here and I looked at my past and the future, you know what I mean, and I was scared. You know what I mean? I was scared. Like my past was so messed up. I had really, really good jobs. You know what I mean? Made a lot of money, blew opportunities. You know what I mean? Like I messed up a lot to where people were like, "Don't hire him, dude." You know what I mean? Like that's how I was getting. It was getting so bad. I had to start going to Delaware and Jersey to get jobs. Because in the restaurant business, like, people talk. You know what I'm saying? People talk and word gets around quick. And then we're like, dude, you have him managing this place, dude. Money's going to be missing. You know what I mean? Alcohol's going to be missing. Like, that's how bad it got. It was really, really bad. To the point where, like, I couldn't even get a job anymore. You know what I mean? And I, so I was like, I can't really work. Like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? My future's not looking too good. Like, so I would get in this kind of down period to where, I feel sorry for myself that I messed up so bad and everything's so messed up. And I'd be like, dude, I just wish, I could change it. But you can change it right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought I'd be doing this in a million years. I never thought I'd be speaking in front, to you guys and running a program and all this stuff. Like, I never saw that, but that's what God had in store for me. You know what I'm saying? So things can happen. Miracles can happen. Changes can happen. Like, the person I am today is so different than the person that I was, back 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I've changed so much. And it comes in small doses sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I stopped cursing and, like, I stopped smoking and, like, little things started happening, like, throughout, but I still got discouraged. You know what I mean? I still thought that, like, this wasn't going to work out for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think things are changing quick enough that I want them to be, but it's not going to be on your time. You know what I mean? Everything takes time. You just got to be patient. And if you're putting the work in, that's the biggest thing is you got to put the work in. Nothing changes if you don't work on this thing. If you just sit back and think that this is going to happen by osmosis, just like stop using, that's not how this works. You know what I mean? This is a bubble. Where we urine you, we make sure you're doing okay. We check up on you once in a while. Even the guys that are working at the other houses, like, once in a while we hit you with the UA. Like, we keep you, on your toes, per se. You know what I mean? So once you get out in the real world, though, there's going to be nobody doing that for you. You know what I mean? If you're not on parole or probation, nobody's going to be asking you how you're doing. Here's a urine, like, that's not going to be happening. And if you haven't worked on anything in here, you're going to fall, and you're going to fall hard. You know what I mean? That's why I'm hard on you guys to get it now. I try to teach you how to be men in here as of now, for when you go out in the real world, you can be ready and prepared. Because if you're not prepared, this world is going to eat you alive. You know what I mean? And you're going to end up going right back to what you are used to doing, which is running the drugs or alcohol. You know what I mean? So it's hard. This thing is not easy. It's very hard. But like I said earlier, life is hard. You know what I mean? Life is hard in general, but normal people do not run the drugs every time life gets hard. You know what I mean? You have to stay put the work in, and things will start changing. It takes time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you won't see anything for a year or 2 years down the line. Like I didn't see any real change for like a year and a half. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see any significant changes. I just kept doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Going to meetings, meeting new people, learning new things, like trying to do things differently than I would before. You know what I mean? I took a job making $12 an hour. You know what I mean? Like I started from the bottom and worked my way up, and slowly but surely, like things started to change. And then when I look back, I was like, dude, I'm surprised I don't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't. I was like, how did that stop happening? You know what I mean? Like I changed in spite of myself. Even if I didn't want to change, I was going to change. You know what I'm saying? If you stay here long enough and you keep working, even if you weren't here, if you were somewhere else in a different program, if you stay long enough and you do what they're asking you to do, you take suggestions, you start learning, you start trying to change. You know what I mean? Start reading and doing things differently. You know what I mean? Than you would before. Spend some time with yourself, praying. You know what I mean? Asking to be changed. You know what I'm saying? I did that as well. Like I prayed that change would come upon me, and you know, and it did. You know what I mean? I changed, and I've seen people, you know, change over the years. People that were very angry and bitter and hated life. The other thing that I could say, the biggest thing for me was staying in today. You know what I mean? Like some guys that I work with, you know, they got to go hour per hour. You know what I'm saying? You just got to stay in the moment. Don't look at the past. Don't look at the future. Just stay here in the now and the present. You know what I mean? It's very overwhelming, especially when you first get clean, to look at all the damage you have done and then to look at the future, which is unforeseen. But you can't change the past right now at this minute. You know what I mean? And you can't change the future. The future's coming. So just stay in today. You know, if you can do it a day at a time, great. If you can't, do it an hour at a time, every 2 hours. You know what I mean? It just stay put. You know what I mean? Don't try to jump back and forth, man. It'll really mess you up and it'll take you out of here. Any more questions for Anthony? Dennis?
Anthony, yo, I will follow you to the end of the earth. You are a leader, one that can be followed. In my ancient country, Nigeria and Ghana, there's a word that means general. And we utilize this word, nigga. You're my general. I'm with you. We got a battle out here, and we're going to defeat this disease together. We. That's why in the 12-step, it's always we. We can get this, man. And I'm with you. I'm rolling with you. You my man, listen, I love you, man. Ever since I met you, man, I love you, bro. I love you too, right?
Okay, Dennis. Thank you for that. So, all right, we're going to end with that.
Visit our website, ghproject.org, and you can donate at ghproject.org/donate. Like and follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. And you can email us at info@ghproject.org. Thanks for watching.